Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How's everybody doing out there? People watch, people listen, people watch and listen. And if you have tuned into this show for any time at all, you've tuned in. Yeah, you motivated me, Charity. We inspire one another. Her empire's downstairs and my empire is upstairs. So I've been racking my brain along with my sound ace, my sound and gear ace, Wally. You know, this is his soundtrack he created for us way back when we first were getting started. And we have been racking our brain this week, ladies and gentlemen, with this manual here. I know you guys can't see it out there in podcast world, but it's the Tascam Model 12 manual for the new Tascam 12 Model 12 board that we have. And we still have a couple last hurdles to overcome. And so we're going to do that. We're not going to give up. But it has been a challenge. I will tell you this. There's one last element that we've got to be able to get relative to the interface. And so at one point, I just walked away from the board today and said, I am going to go walk Samson. And then I said, well, I don't know what I would rather do more. Maybe I should just stick with trying to fix the board. So thank you guys. For anyone who tunes into Impact Life 24/7 with your host CL King, you know that I am here in Impactville, sitting high atop the Ruth E. Plowden Legacy Chair. And what you will get out of a podcast like this is you will enter into the sacred hallowed doors of the Cathedral of Resources. We bring people from all different walks of life onto this show who have had an impact, who are making an impact, a combination of both. And the ultimate goal is for them to impact you, the listener. You know how many people out there have such a dynamic and amazing story? And we need those stories told. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what we do on Impacting Life 24/7. It is that focus. Okay, anything else is not worth my time. Okay, I don't bring people on here to lament and complain and bellyache. We've had some very traumatic stories on this show, but people always find a way and an avenue to overcome the adversity. And that's what we try to connect you with. Overcoming the adversities, ladies and gentlemen. And so I want to thank you for tuning in to this special edition of Impacting Life 24/7. In fact, what am I going to be doing? I'm going to be 3 nights in the chair, because tomorrow night we will have Nicole Lawson, who was on our show back when I didn't even have a video. We had no video capability. We didn't even know how to record it. She's going to be on. And then Friday, Nisi Jordan, I am Nisi J, is going to be guest hosting the show from her location in Greensboro, North Carolina. And she's going to be interviewing me, believe it or not. But I'm giving her the entire show. And we're going to talk about the book. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, the book, Who Ate My Brownie? No matter the adversity, you still can make it. Which is in the editing phase right now, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm getting ready to put the hammer down on the editors and expedite this thing, because I want it in your hands. It has gone from my mind to the computer to the correctors, and then it must be in your fingerprints. It must be in your hands. It's got to be in your grip. So, ladies and gentlemen, looking forward to that. We're just continuing to do the things that God called us to do, and we do them. You know, some people remark and say, how do you get all this stuff done? I mean, how do you accomplish these things? How are you always seeming like you're so busy? And you know what? I just realized that now is the time we can sit back and complain and cry and all that about the world situations, or we can do something about it. And that's, ladies and gentlemen, exactly what I plan to do. And so, in another 2 weeks, we head right back to Craven County Jail under the great and auspicious leadership of Sheriff Chip Hughes. And we'll be down there for 2 nights of motivational moments. And we look so forward to that because it is real. It's raw. It's not a room full of people that are expecting a motivational speaker. You understand? It's not a corporate board meeting that they brought me in to somehow spark the sales department. These are people that have had real life challenges. And my commitment to Chip Hughes and his entire staff there in Craven County is to help those people, those residents, have a plan, a definitive plan that when they get out of the bonds of the county jail, that they will never return. And that should be the goal. And I'm so delighted that Chip really has focused on that being the reason why he's in office. He's a sheriff of the people, and we really appreciate the partnership that we have forged with him. And if you know Sheriff Chip Hughes there in Craven County, you know that he is a sheriff of the people. And he's a sheriff of Democrats and Republicans. And I really, really appreciate that about him. And we just going to continue to help in any way that we can. Additionally, here we are fast approaching the return to school and the fast approaching fall season. And you guys know that the return to school brings about a whole host of, emotions amongst people. And especially moms and dads and students. There are students that are getting ready to go back to school that have a ton of anxiety. Did y'all know that? They have a ton of anxiety for a number of reasons. It could be that they're going to a new school, or they're going to a new grade. They're leaving the comforts and confines of their previous grade, and now they don't know what to expect. They're wanting to try out for a new sport. And, there's just all these different elements of anxiety that our young people face. And, another thing that our young people face that we don't talk enough about is they face the temptations of drugs. Did y'all know that? They face the temptation of drugs. And drugs it's not a joke. It's not something that we can casually just, gloss over like a lot of things that we do sometimes in society. And so we are launching a campaign entitled I Won't Try. That's right. We're launching a campaign entitled I Won't Try. And the reason why we're launching that campaign is because we want young people, in all the things that we do, ladies and gentlemen, we tell young people, try, give it your best, right? I'm going to share my screen with you just for a second so you can see what this brilliant campaign looks like for those of you that tune in to the Facebook event and watch it live. That is the logo there. I won't try. And below that is the word drugs. I won't try. So this fall, we're launching this campaign sponsored by Impacting Life 24/7 LLC. We're launching this campaign called I Won't Try Drugs. And it's going to be an interactive elementary, middle school, and high school program that we've created. And it's going to show people, it's going to show the young people DRUGS. We're going to take them through 5 steps of why we don't want them to even try. There was a time when experimenting with drugs was a thing. It was just almost like a passage in life. Like, okay, that they're going to experiment. But the drug platform has gotten so scary and so unpredictable that I'm on a mission to tell our young people, don't give it the first try, because the first try could be the last. You understand? The first try of drugs could be the last. And so I don't want you to try. I want you to try to get good grades. I want you to try on track and field. I want you to try to go out for the chamber choir. I want you to try and give your best effort. But in this particular case for drugs, I don't even want you to try. Don't put forth the effort, because the effort that you put forth is not going to be worth the return. I have a dear friend, Amanda Faith, traveling around the country right now. And this month is a month of note to her. And she lost her beautiful son at 13 years old to fentanyl. And fentanyl is a killer. It kills students and young people and adults dead, sometimes instantly. And so it's my job as the impact motivator. That's what I have been commissioned to do in life, is to provoke people, to provoke people to find a reason for impact. Like, it's not just about getting up and going to school and that's it. There's a reason why you need to be impacted, because there are dangers and there are elements that are circling around you. They're swathing around like a mist. And sometimes we just kind of diddy bop on down the road like everything's good. No, it's not. I'm not Henny Penny, the sky is falling, but we also have to have this thing called situational awareness. So that's our campaign in the fall. I won't try. And yes, it is one more thing that we have on our agenda. But you know what? It's not just one more thing. It's the thing. It's important. What if it was your kid that is in an assembly with me who was thinking about trying drugs, and we supplanted and thwarted the effort of a clandestine drug dealer to take your little kid out? Yeah, no. It's the thing. It's important. It's essential. It's vital. The conversation will always be at the forefront on this show. So here we are tonight. I wanted to just join with you all for just a few moments of time. And feel free to share if you're in the live group, and if you're on the podcast. Here's what I love for you to do. For our podcast audience, you can connect with us at impactinglife247.podbean.com. That's our host site. But of course, you can connect with us on the podcast anywhere you download your podcast. It's carried on 30 different platforms. Of course, all the major ones: Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon, Pandora, any of those, iHeart. You can almost even say, Alexa, play Impacting Life 24/7 with CL King, and see what she says. Sometimes I do that just to let myself know that, hey, man, somebody can actually listen to this. And so our podcast audience, listen, we want you to understand that subscribing is important, and letting other people know about this. I have a host of people's books. This is just one sampling of the books that of people who have been on the show that have given us information that we can share with you. And this transference of information is so essential. We don't want to hog it all for ourselves, but we want to transfer it to you from the cathedral of resources out into the plantations of opportunity and potential. We transfer this stuff to you. And so tonight I want to talk to you about something that's going to lift you up a little bit. It's called the 4 stages of success. Now, that is something that I think we all should be able to wrap our heads around, that we all want to be successful. No one sets out to be non-successful. No one wakes up in the morning and says, I'm going to do everything within my power to fail. No one does that. And if you do, you probably need to talk to someone. And I don't mean that facetiously. I mean, like, seriously. If you don't have a desire to succeed, and you're wondering, well, how can I be a success in the morning? You know, what can I do? First thing you can do, get up and make your bed. You're successful. No one can take that away from you. You'll even feel different. And so this gentleman, Christopher D. Connors, I came across this because I'm always studying people who are successful, who think about success, who model success. And sometimes people's perception of success is different. Right. And so let's not just look at the car in the driveway and the house and the typical elements that we, attach like ornaments on the tree of life as success. Sometimes it's not that. And more importantly, success is so much more than things. And when I was reading this, man, I was just like, man, this is really good. I want to share this with our audience, give him full credit. He's an author, executive coach, and an emotional intelligence speaker. He's been seen on Fox, ABC, CNBC, NBC, and maybe we'll have him on here, Christopher D. Connors. And he talks about the 4 stages of success. One thing Benjamin Franklin said was, without continual growth and progress, such words as improvement, achievement, and success have no meaning. One of the greatest dangers in our society is comfort. Growth, improvement, achievement, and success, those take us to a place that is oftentimes not comfortable. And so, there are 4 distinct stages to every cycle of success. Now, understand that there are elements, there are blocks or buckets of success that you can put these 4 into one bucket per idea. So, I want to be successful as a husband. I want to be successful in my job. I want to be successful as a parent. And so, I like what he says here because he gives us a breakdown of kind of the forensics, if you will, of success. This is one thing Victor Hugo said, there is one thing stronger than all the armies in the world. That is an idea whose time has come. Victor Hugo said that. I love that quote there. And what Christopher Connors says is the incubating stage of your idea is all about creativity and imagination. How many people out there have had an idea that you thought was great and nobody else got behind it? I want to add this to Chris's thought here, that sometimes your idea is exactly that, yours. And other people won't get behind it. They won't get behind your idea until they see it as a success. But this is an important stage of success, is the idea. And man, I'm constantly having ideas like, man, what can I do here? What's a new thing I can do there? And our society has made it so, man, you can have an endless amount of ideas. Just look at TikTok. So, when we talk about the journey and we talk about the idea, here's one thing that is interesting what he talks about. He said, I found the most valuable ideas have come from moments of adversity, when circumstances forced me to think more creatively and come up with solutions. That's exactly right. I keep saying this, ladies and gentlemen. I was forged in a crucible of adversity. And I'm reading this from author Christopher D. Connors, and he's talking about the 4 stages of success. And I said, I really want to share this with my audience tonight, giving him full credit. I didn't create this, but I can do a little bit of commentating on the idea because, again, sometimes we think success is a 4-year college, and then, a white picket fence marriage, $75,000 job, and 2 cars, and you know what I'm saying? Like we have attributed things to success, and we've forgotten the elements, right? We've forgotten the practices. We've forgotten the steps. All we see is, okay, kids are looking at us today and they're like, okay, I guess this is success. I got to get a, 2,800 square foot home. I got to get a overpriced car that I can't pay for. You know what I mean? I got to keep up with the Joneses. That, ladies and gentlemen, is not success. And I believe what he said, that oftentimes some of our best ideas are brought and birthed out of adversity. And thought is what you need, ladies and gentlemen. You need an idea. What are your greatest ideas? What do you think about? This is what Chris is asking. When have ideas typically come to you? And this is what I'm going to add. Have your ideas been snuffed out by the current climate in the world? Right? Is it that you say, man, I can't have no ideas, man. I had some back in the days, but musicians go through this, writer's block. I guess writers go through that too. I should say that I experienced a bit of that when I was writing the book. Not that I didn't know what to write, but I wanted to put it in the right format. I wanted it to have the right, voicing. And so, you've got to think about, it's okay to have multiple ideas. It's okay. It's okay to take a blank canvas every day and say, okay, this is idea number 1. And cultivate that thing, nurture it. Don't be alarmed if nobody likes your idea. In fact, maybe you shouldn't share it with people. Maybe you should keep them private and close to your chest. Like this is my idea. But when you think about it, many things came from an idea. I was thinking about that with the beautiful Mount Rushmore in South Dakota. That came from an idea of someone saying, we need to put something up that symbolizes America's first 150 years. It was an idea. And it was cultivated, and it was passed along to another visionary. See, don't tell your ideas or your dreams to people that don't have no vision. If you go tell somebody who's content with, $8 an hour, clocking in, clocking out, that's it. There's nothing wrong with that. If they're content with that, don't tell your dream or idea about wanting to start your own business to them, because they don't see it. They only see security and stability in punching in a 9-to-5 job, right? So you have to be careful. You have to be careful who you tell your ideas to. You understand? You have to be mindful that these things are precious. But the first stage that Christopher Connors describes in his writing on the 4 stages of success is he talks about the idea. The second stage that he talks about is the drive. This is your planning, motivating, and inspiring stage. The drive is what empowers you and makes you never want to give up. It's a drive. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to be $1 million speaker. That's the drive. And it's something that fuels my energy to get up every single day. But it's not just about being $1 million speaker. I want to reach 1 million kids. But it's not just about reaching 1 million kids for the sake of 1 million. No. The more people I know that I can stand in front of and share this story of transformation, I know that's how many lives can be touched and turned around. So, Chris Connors goes on to say, he says, look, Once you have an idea, find the motivation you need to enable you to keep going. Fear can drive us from failing. The fear of success can be very detrimental. So it says, while fear can drive us from failing, the fear of success can be very detrimental. So we're so afraid of failing that we don't develop the drive to keep going. So he's saying there we lack motivation and inspiration. We tend to run away from our dreams. This can stop the best of us dead in our tracks. I agree, man. The four stages of success is, man, the second one is the drive. Man, you know what? When everybody else is asleep, you're going to have to get up. You know, when you've been told no 25 times, you're going to have to go to number 26. It's a drive. It's something that is a passion that maybe, like I said, just like with the idea, it might be only you can share it. Like, we got a team here at Impacting Life 24/7, but I say this with sincerity. I don't want any of them to work harder than me. This was all my idea. I don't want them to be up till 3 o'clock in the morning thinking and strategizing and dreaming. No. I understand that I gotta have the drive. They're dependent on me to get to where we're really trying to get to. And like, I see the end. It's not just about the shiny things. It's like I see the end, like walking and fulfilling your absolute purpose in life. That's the drive. He goes on to describe Michael Jordan, which everybody, Michael Jordan sometimes gets a tough rap because it's like, well, Michael Jordan is the gold standard for anything successful. But he faced a lot of failure too. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes people will follow you after you've hit the game-winning shot, but they forget about the thousands of shots that he missed. Here's a thing I used to teach students, and I know in this generation, in this society, I probably can't teach it anymore. But Michael Jordan was not just interested in doing his best. Michael Jordan was interested in being the best. It's one thing to step on the field and you fall short and you say, man, you did your best. Way to go. There's no trophies for doing your best. They don't hand out rings in June at the end of the NBA season for giving it your best shot. I know that's cold. That's a very stone cold approach. It's cold as granite on a winter afternoon. But the truth is, Michael Jordan was not just concerned with giving his best. He was concerned with being the best. Like everyone would have to elevate themselves to get to his level. And then when they did, he would elevate himself again. It was a drive. This is the second stage of success, according to our friend Christopher D. Connors. And I'm sharing with you tonight that the second stage of success is drive, man. You got to drive. You got to push. You got to go. Then the third stage of success is the journey. And I have stopped, as I've gotten older, and realized that sometimes I got to stop and appreciate the journey. Right? I can't be so consumed with the metrics and checking boxes and data in, data out, this, that, the other, turn. No. I gotta also appreciate what I get to do. it's a journey. And Chris says in this writing, he said, this is the process, the execution, the place where you'll spend your time. The journey is unique and specific to all of us. Your journey may find you trying to become the top sales executive in your company. Maybe you just launched a new advertising company, or perhaps you have the idea for a mobile app that will make Snapchat and Instagram jealous. I like that. After the idea and the drive stage, you are on the journey. Hard work, intelligent direction, strategy, process. This is where everything forms. Listen to me. These are 4 stages of success taught to us by Christopher D. Connors. And I think this is really good. I think this is a really good meal for tonight. He says, you realize you can't just have faith and expect results. Yeah, here's the thing that sometimes, listen, I love God. I've been serving him since I was a little boy. I love the Lord, and I believe that he does govern in the affairs of his people. But I also recognize that God puts within ourselves and within our hands the capacity to get results. You hear somebody sing, and they're like, man, that was an awesome job. And they'll say, well, it was the Lord. No, the Lord wasn't singing. You were. Well, I just want to be humble. I get it, man. Humility is great. And God don't like a proud spirit. I get that. I understand that. But I also understand that he equips us to do things. So if I come up to you and I say, man, that was a great presentation. Well, it was the Lord. The Lord was working in you to give you the capacity to be on the stage to do what you just did. You did it. Through his grace. Of course, we can't do nothing without him, but we do things. You understand what I'm saying? And the journey is where you realize that you have to. I talk about this in our gear training. Isn't this so cool that Christopher Connors validates what I say in gear? The R is, look, you got to expect results. Y'all know that? Did y'all know that results are important? I helped churches for many years, grow and look at how they can reach the different demographics in their city. And, some of the thoughts was, well, we're just going to believe God. He's going to send them in. No, he won't. Might as well turn this into a bingo hall. It won't. It won't happen that way. He corralled the animals to get into the ark. Right? Because the rain was coming. But there's 400 churches in your city that somebody can make a decision to go to. So if you just sitting around saying, well, we're just praying the Lord brings them in, they will continue to bypass your edifice. That is the truth. There has to be a journey associated with it. There has to be some work. There has to be some effort. You have to expect results. Everyone has a definition of success. But how much effort and how much drive and how much you understand the journey will determine your definition of success. You've got to realize that the journey doesn't mean you put this bad boy on autopilot, kick your feet back, and that's it. You good. I just got to get from point A to point B. No, along the journey is where you appreciate the setbacks, where you appreciate the restarts, right? Yeah, man, when I was on episode 99 of this podcast, it seems like a century ago. When I was on episode 99, I was ready to throw in the towel. Okay, I was done because, number one, this is one of my shortcomings, is that because I did not receive affirmation as a kid growing up and had all those different dynamics and homelessness and all that kind of stuff, affirmation is important to me. So then when I see, man, I put this thing together and people are just kind of giving me this half-hearted, muted response to the programming, and we're really having some great people on, it's just like, well, why even bother? They don't care. They're not supporting it. Why try? And then God said, that's not the reason. You haven't even tried it 100 times. You ready to quit at 99. And it seemed like once we made it over 100, it seemed like, man, I had a different focus. It wasn't just about how many downloads and how many followers and how many, because that's what our society breeds in our next generation. Are you viral? How many followers? How many downloads? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I said, man, I'm not doing this exclusively for that reason. The journey is more about sharing amazing people from around the world. The journey is about sharing their stories and their giftings and their trials and their triumphs with someone that will listen. It could be Neri in the Philippines. It could be somebody in New Zealand. It could be my friend in Kenya. But that's what the purpose is. The purpose is not about the red hot numbers. The purpose is about, can we make an impact in this 30-minute show? That's the journey. And so now it's just, this is a way of life. This is the journey. And the last part, the last stage that he says of success is the reward. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, the reward is a thing. Are you ready for this? Said, the reward of a thing well done is having done it. I love it. The reward of a thing well done is having done it. That sometimes is the biggest reward, is getting it done and completing it. This is your winner's circle when we talk about success. How will you handle it? This is what Chris is talking about. Are you ready for it? Maybe you've envisioned the moment that your YouTube video series goes viral, or when you deliver your first keynote address at a TED Speakers Conference. But are you really ready to be crowned the victor? You will find success if you plan and execute properly. But if your mind is prepared for receiving the reward, then that's a whole nother ball game. He's talking about the Summer Olympics game when young Simone Biles won 4 gold medals. That year, she was only 19, and it's easy to think that her success was mostly overnight. No, she was the best in the world, winning the world championship all-around event each year following the 2012 Olympic Games. Then he goes on to say in 2016 was the time she prepared and she knew what her reward would be. Do you got a picture of your reward? What it's going to look like? How will you prepare for it mentally, physically, and emotionally? Prepare for rehearsing what your reward is going to be. Visualize it. Then once you're there, act like you've already been there. Christopher D. Connors. This is a great write-up, and it's called The 4 Stages of Success. The 4 Stages of Success. Very, very powerful. We'll reach out to him, see if we can get him on to the show and just go into this a little more in depth. But this is some time ago. He actually wrote this, looks like back in 2017. And it's so relevant still today, man. Take these 4 elements and the 4 stages of growth and really apply them to your life. You know, number 1, you got to have the idea. Number 2, the drive is essential. Number 3, understanding the journey. And number 4, reaping the reward. And that's it. So that's it for me. I was flying solo tonight, ladies and gentlemen, because my wife says you better put a show out. Well, this will be show number 3 actually this week, because tomorrow night again on Impacting Life 24/7 we'll have Nicole Lawson, a return guest. We have had so much change in our life since the first time she was on with us. And then Friday night we're doing a special episode with Niecy Jordan. She'll be guest hosting the show, and we will be talking about who ate my brownie. No matter the adversity, you still can make it. I bumped into somebody the other day and they said, yeah, your book is coming out. Who ate my brownie, right? And I said, you know what, God, I'm ready to reap this reward. Somebody knew the title of my book. That really made me feel well. So we're just going to continue to promote. It's actually going to get really intense here once we get the date for release. So until then, thank you so much. Tune in tomorrow night. We'll be back on our regularly scheduled program at 7 p.m. with Nicole Lawson. She's got such a dynamic story, and she's overcome so much. When we had her on, we were talking about domestic violence and how she was brutally attacked by an ex-boyfriend, and how she got out of that relationship, how she's transcended and rose to every occasion, even in the midst of adversity. Love talking to people like that. Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, exclusively on Impacting Life 24/7 with your host, CL King. We'll see you tomorrow night. Have a great night.